I did my neck in this morning, just a pulse something, you know, that way it's like you've got a stiff neck. I think it might be that mattress. I've had it for a few years now. The way I was sleeping last night, you know, I was right down on the pillow on the left hand side, and I got up at day out into the shower, and I thought I better get a move on here. I want to get to game in plenty of time, because Hampden, it takes ages to get to Hampden, doesn't it? It takes ages to get there. It's always a wee bit further, just always a wee bit further away than you think when you're going to Hampden. So I want to get there in plenty of time. I was like, get a move on, and I just went with it, the shampoo, and I did. Folk are like, Alec, you've got the shampoo, you actually wash your hair and all that. No, I've got this mad hair, mad old man, kind of baldy hair, where it just sticks out the side of your head, and I just thought one benefit of being bald was, you know, I wouldn't have to get my hair cut anymore, or you'd wait 6 months between haircuts, but no, it's actually worse. You've got to get more haircuts, because the stuff you do have in the side of your head is pure mad. You know, I should do it myself, I suppose, but I didn't go to the local barbers during COVID, and I always felt bad for not supporting a local business, so I want to make sure I keep going back there. But so I did wash that wee bit. It's kind of like David Baddiel said about how hair comes down through your nose and goes out your ears when old man. It just doesn't fall off your head, it falls down through your heads. So it's nose clippers and all that kind of stuff. You actually spend more time on your hair when you get to my age than you did when you're in your teens and you're getting the Chrissy Waddle mullet and you know, the big flick backs and that kind of stuff, and the Grecian 2000 and the Brill cream and stuff like that. I just went, all right, I'm going to have to get a move on here, and it's that kind of own brand stuff. My missus is like, okay, a nice shampoo. I was like, listen, I just need something. I could just do it with soap, to be quite honest. Get the cheapest thing possible for me. Just make sure it's blue, you know. So we get some blue. I've got a crappy bottle of blue shampoo. It lasts me for about 3 years. So I chuck it. I tap my napper, give it a good squirt, and I was up there, my horn. It just wasn't something. I just pulled it right at the end there. So it was a kind of uncomfortable feeling all the way while making my breakfast to make sure I recovered. And because after, you know, I was taking a motor all day, and I went for a few drinks yesterday. Well, I just we went to see White Christmas. She always like to go and see a film, a kind of Christmassy film. Muppet Christmas Carol was much better last year, but it was GFT this time. I got to GFT to see White Christmas, and it was. I've never seen White Christmas the whole way through. Obviously, I've seen bits of it, and it's the song quite well, but it was interesting. I don't know why folk go to the cinema though and just take all these sweets, and I know it helps support the GFT, you know, Independent Art House Cinema. You've seen Paul Calf's Video Diaries, you know, that wanker's place on Robson Road. And it's Independent Art House Cinema. That's what I said. You know, that's GFT. I'm in there and I'm getting myself. I did my bit. You know, Mrs. wants to go and see White Christmas, get in the Christmas spirit. So we did that. And folk are, I mean, you can tell by looking at me that I like my sweets, I like my Coca-Cola. It's not as if I'm, you know, it's not as if my body's a temper or anything like that. If it is, it's one of the ones I just knocked down, you know. But you know, I don't get why folks sit in the cinema and even I like during a film that's got a lot of musical numbers in it and eat crisps and Coca-Cola and rustle through packets and all that. And it's like, give yourself a break, watch the film. I mean, I'm morbidly obese, and I can still manage to last a couple of hours if I was to watch a film properly. And it's alright if I'm in the house, you know, that's fine, but you're not in the house. You're just dunt in the back of the seat as you get down there to get it's a couple of wee lassies, to be honest, it was behind us, like fucking unbelievable. So that wasn't it. It was White Christmas. I've not seen the whole way through. You know, Irving Berlin kind of phoned it in as far as I was concerned. White Christmas, obviously, a really good song. You know, it's not one of my personal favourites, but it's a good song. But I didn't realise I remember this. I'd heard this years ago, but I hadn't really looked up on it. Holiday Inn. It's based on a previous film, Holiday Inn, and that was Fred Astaire was in that one, I think, with Bing Crosby, and Fred Astaire was supposed to do this one. But anyway, it's Tony Kaye, and you know now that Tony Kaye was gay, you know, and there's one of the bits in the film where the lassie, what's her name? You get it's Bing Crosby, Tony Kaye, and the two women is Rosemary Clooney, you know, George Clooney's auntie, and what's her name? Is it Ellen? Eva Ellen, I think her name is. Anyway, anorexic, and you can tell there's some disturbing bits. It's because, you know, the old films were all for folk who are kind of young, although we had to look it up. Bing Crosby was actually 49 at the time filming it, but you know, it's like they're young but they're old at the same time. You can see, you know, old folk you knew for that generation when you were a kid. You can see they're still the same style, the same hairdos and all that as the folk you knew in their 70s, in my case in the 70s. In this film in the 50s, which is all about the 40s end of the war. It's just totally pro-war. It's a pro-war film, very heavily sentimental. and the legend is that she was anorexic, and you see the close-up dancing, her legs and all that about it, but she's got this kind of the day, the kind of sexy outfit of the day. She's got these wee kind of hot pants on that are actually more like, it's more like a nappy, and it's just making you think about old folk in a retirement home, you know, when you get to that kind of incontinent stage, which I'm not far off myself, but I just, it's a bit disturbing, the close-ups. The other dancers, the lassies, they're really lovely, you know, they just look kind of normal, kind of modern type builds on them, but the songs, White Christmas alright, but sisters, you know, God help the mister that comes between me and my sister. They date twice, and it's right. It's all part of the film because they're trying to work a ruse. The two sisters have to get away without paying this bad landlord £200, so they make it that they're still doing their number that they've just done. They did this number at the Novello Club, and I thought, was that Irving Berlin having a go at Ivor Novello? Because Novello is the fella that actually, you know, he's the waiter or the maitre d', the guy who owns the club. He's not a musical film. I thought, wonder if there was any tension between the two. But the awards get named after Ivor Novello, so he probably wins. But they end up the two sisters when they're bolting, Fred Astaire and Tony Kaye, they do the whole dance routine because this guy can hear it. You can't see them, you can hear it, so he thinks it's still the sisters while they're actually bolting. It's giving them a head start, and it's Tony Kaye and Bing Crosby. They're doing the dance routine. They've done themselves up and kind of, you know, they've got wee tiaras on. They've still, they're big kind of fans. They've still some of the lassies' outfits, and it's all very funny. You know, men dressing up slightly as women. But you know, remember Tony Kaye's gay. You know, but it's, I don't know. I know myself. I'm a huge fan of Luther Vandross, and the one thing about Luther Vandross was he never came out. He's getting heartbroken from him. You see what he puts into his music and all that. It's his eyes. His eyes are so sparkling, very feminine eyes. And I know it doesn't work out like that. I know that's really crass. Like, you know, just because somebody's gay, a guy's gay, that means he's like a girl or something. I know it's not like that, but he just, I don't know, you could just tell. But I just probably fancied him. Anyway, he's gorgeous, Luther Vandross, and he put on a lot of weight like myself, you know what I mean? Stuff going on there. But I thought Tony Kaye's got the same, but no, it's actually Bing Crosby who's got the most sparkling eyes, really taken it away. Just take your breath away. My God, his eyes are so blue, you know. Looking really good there. Looking quite effeminate, you know, and he seems to be really enjoying camping it up. Bing Crosby, you know, he had a lot of things about how horrible he was to his wains and all that, and how strict he was into the golf and that. Very much a man's man, but that's quite something interesting. But the Eva Ellen woman who's kind of anorexic, and she's wearing all these high neck things, and the legend is that she's wearing high neck things because her anorexia made her neck look really kind of withered and all that, far too young. It might just be nice outfits, I don't really know about all that, but at one point she's kind of seducing Tony Kaye, and he's very convincing at no wanting to be seduced by a woman. You know, he's kind of fighting her off kind of idea, and she says to him, but don't you want to be young and, you know, happy and gay or something like that? And I'm like, oh God, the word didn't mean the same then in 1954, but it's quite a thing for him to be saying that. But the songs, they go this one, so they get to play the whole point of that is they played the Sisters song. It's been used twice. It's been used twice in this film that he thinks is a great musical. And then the other ones, I mean, phoning it in, the snow. No, they want to go up to the place, they want the place they're going to do the musical to be covered in snow because it's a Christmas thing. But they sing this song on the train there up to Vermont. And it's just basically like snow. You love snow, I love snow. When I do lines of cocaine, I think it's snow. It's like, fucking hell, this is really... And then there's this song about he does when he goes on television. The Bing Crosby character, he's going on television to advertise the show they're going to do because it's his old general that owns the venue, the hotel that they're going to do, and he wants to get advertised so folk come up and spoke because the business is struggling, his hotel's struggling because of the lack of snow, ironically. It's a major part of the plot, to be honest. And he does this song about generals when he's on the telly on this show trying to promote it's all about generals that don't have jobs anymore, and the lyrics are basically, I don't remember them exactly, but there's something along the lines of, it's terrible being a general who doesn't have a job because you're a general who doesn't have a job. See, if you're a general who doesn't have a job, you're a general without a job. Oh, when you were a general, but now you're not a general, you've not got a job. Fucking Irving Berlin, what a reputation he's got. He's a total lyrical genius. This is pish. This is just absolutely pish. I was thinking to myself yesterday, but no, it wasn't really about me, was it? It wasn't about me yesterday. Yesterday it wasn't about me. I went for a few drinks after that. We tried to go to some of the Christmas markets in Glasgow City Centre. The one doing it at St Enoch's and the one at we didn't even try the one at George Square because the one at St Enoch's was so rammed you. That was going to just get in the underground, straight to Byers Road and get myself a few drinks out there. And even then, went to the place in the Ashton Lane, it does all the beers on the Innocent Gun place, it does all the fancy, your kind of craft ales and all that. A nice one, but it's fucking roasting. Folk think just because it's December, that means it's automatically freezing. The temperature's the temperature, doesn't matter what it says in the calendar. So didn't really bother with that. But it's quite good to get a few drinks. It was quite stressful last weekend when we had to take the motor, brand new motor, got a motor through Cinch. And I remember when I was handing over the wheel nut thing, I just made sure that the locking nut, for your wheels, for your rims, whatever. It wasn't a fancy motor, it wasn't a lot of boy racing car or anything like that, but that's a thing you always needed for your MOTs and stuff. So I made a point of handing it to the guy, and he was really good. The guy, he was really good, giving us every detail with the car and all that. And I said to him, "That's your, by the way, because you're trading in your motor, so this the locking nut for the wheels there, mate." And he just kind of went, "Aha." I thought, oh, he's not laughing at me, he's laughing about something, but it's no, he didn't want to say anything. I think he thought to himself, we haven't gave him the fucking locking nut for that one. So next time we get an email for Cinch saying, you've got an appointment at Arnold Clark's to get this. I'm like, what? Why have we got an appointment at Arnold Clark to get your locking nut? I didn't realise I've actually got to make them special. They've got to make them special, the locking nut. So I had to basically take a day off Friday, run the wife into work. It's hard to really use it for her work. And I went to... it's got a Rangers link. This is definitely to do with the Fitbit. You need to listen to this. I went to the up to Arnold Clark's and all that. Run her to work. Then I take more to Arnold Clark. And I just thought, it's just a few locking nut. I said, you just get it to me. I'll just come in. I don't need to. The wife can just keep the motor. I'll just come down to Arnold Clark's and pick it up after you. That one down in South Street, down near the Clydeside Expressway, the big granary building, and all that. No, we've actually got to fit it. They've got to come in and they've got to get into your wheels and all that. Oh, right, okay. And I thought, that makes sense. It's got to be special made, because if you could get one, you would just, if fuel nuts were just fuel locking nuts with fuel locking nuts, well then all the thieves could have them. Just use the one the thieves got in their own motor to go out and steal hubcaps and wheels and that off other folk in their motor. So it must be special made. That makes sense. So anyway, I went in there, and but they had to make sure, Cinch, it's just the most misnamed company in the world, and they had to make sure that I had the permission, Arnold Clark, to make sure that Cinch were going to pay for this work, because I wasn't fucking paying for it, And I had to take a day off. So I just went along to the wee. If you know that bit down South Street, there's a drive-through Starbucks and a drive-through Burger King right next to each other. No, across for the big high flats. Well, high flats. That's terrible that folk. High flats I'm looking at here for Hampden. Folk think when you say high flats, you mean like council stuff. No, what difference does it make? But what do you call them? Apartments or something like that? These kind of private. They're supposed to be fancy flats. No, didn't buy Partick, right on the Clyde. So I saw a rat. Every time I parked down there, I see a rat, running about. So it can't be that fancy. Anyway, I went down there. I walked along to the Starbucks just across for that. That's the one I went in. The boy gave me the cake in the bag, and the icing was stuck to the top of the bag a few months ago. But I just let that go. I didn't mention anything when I went in there, and I was sitting. I thought, I'll go to the laptop out and I'll just do some of my work. On a laptop, and I couldn't. So my laptop's about 20-year-old. I thought it was going to look a bit wanky. I thought I feel a bit self-conscious. Laptop at a cafe, and even though it's a Starbucks, I feel bad enough going to a Starbucks supporting they bastards, the tax avoiding bastards. But I get in there and everybody's sitting on a laptop. The only embarrassment was that their laptops are all like wafer thin. They've all got new ones. Mine's is like bringing out a kind of a steampunk version of a laptop. Brass and pipe fittings and stuff like that. I think that's when I done my neck in. The pulp and the muscle in the neck. I probably laid the groundwork for that when I was getting that out of the bag and laid it down. And I couldn't get a fucking signal. I couldn't go on the Wi-Fi, and I was too embarrassed to ask anybody. I was going through all the stuff on my phone and using up my data on the phone to try and get stuff about how to sign into Wi-Fi. And there's all sorts of links to sign up into a Wi-Fi at Starbucks. It's a bit of a nightmare, I think, for a lot of folk. So it might have been a coster. I can't even tell. But I was in there, and it turned out I wasn't getting a signal either from my phone. So the lassie had actually phoned me for Arnold Clark to say, Albert, I've got permission for since today. We'll get that done and all that. But I thought I'm going to go for some fresh air, and I went for a wee walk I went across the granny just to go along by the Clyde. It was kind of dull day, but it was nice, and I had my bonnet on, my Welders bonnet, my Harland and Wolff Welders Supporters Club bonnet that I got for Finlay. Finlay Cameron, who's a big man on the site here, big star of this here podcast. One of the great supporters of this podcast. So I was wearing the bonnet that Finlay gave me, and I thought, that's quite good. I'm down by the Clyde, where we used to make a lot of ships. Still do. It just takes about 10 years to get a ferry prepared. A bit further up the Clyde, Firth of Clyde. But I was like, this is quite historic, when I was across for Ibrox, and it was all the guys from Northern Ireland that come across, welders and all that come across to work on the ships, and they gave our club a certain character, kind of from the 20s onwards. And I looked at you've got the big things like at Bury Head, basically. You've got the big kind of shipyards that are in there just now. They're always working on something. And I saw this boat they were working on, this huge ship. And it was inside the yard. And I saw they've got the big yellow cranes and all that inside. Oh, that's just like Samson and Goliath that you get in Harland the Wolf, Belfast. That's quite a coincidence. I've got the bonnet. I was trying to get a photograph taken, but I don't have a face for selfies, as you can see just now. To try and incorporate everything, but I couldn't get in it said HMS Belfast. This big white banner that said HMS Belfast across the back of this ship. I think this is just getting, the coincidences here are absolutely mental. And why would HMS Belfast be in there getting, because it's no there, is it? HMS Belfast is famously, anyway, so that was quite a coincidence, and I thought, I eventually went along to Arnold Clark, and there was a whole lot of huffing and puffing and that, and I went in, and the lassie said it's not quite ready yet, it's nearly there. So I just went back and I went to the Burger King. I got myself a burger, but just a cup of tea. And I was like, yeah, I went to Burger King, and that was me. Eventually, I thought I'm just not waiting any longer because they actually shut at 4:30. She told me the guys that do the work are off at 4:30. I parked it in this bay. I parked at the motor in the bay. It's a huge Arnold Clark's at Hullers, and I didn't actually realise that the bays that you park in were numbered. Obviously for your MOT and all that, you have to tell them, well, I'm parked in Bay 56, which I was. I didn't realise that. Didn't realise I was actually parked in Bay 56. I got out the motor, and I just parked at the first bay that was available because it was absolutely mobbed, and I got out and the numbers were kind of rubbed out. It was obviously been painted for a while, and I thought, does that say? And I looked, 57, 58, 50. Aye, that is 56. I've actually parked in 56. And the next day, because it didn't get sorted that night, because the lassie says to me, no, they've only managed to unweld the bolts on one side. They're having to weld the bolts off the two wheels on the other side of the motor. I'm like, welding? It's welders. Harland and Wolf. I'm down by the Clyde. But it was a total waste of my time that day. But it was like I got a nice wee romantic coincidence. So I just come back the next day, and it was sorted straight away. They phoned me like 9 o'clock Saturday morning. It was done. But they gave me a wee. They gave me a wee courtesy car, which is exactly the same as the motor we had, and it was a different motor, and it made me think, I was driving it, and we'd had a diesel before, and this one, it was back to the petrol, the unleaded, and I was thinking, it feels, my wife was saying, it feels if you're going to be really kind of, it wants you to go faster all the time. It does want you to go faster. It feels as if I'm pressing the accelerator and it's revving too fast. There must be a difference in that. There is a difference between driving diesel motors and these motors. And so the courtesy car they gave us at Arnold Clark was actually the exact same car as we've got. And it was doing the accelerator and the pedals. It was the same thing, same thing. So it's no our motor's a problem. It's just us. It's just getting used to driving a petrol motor again, despite the diesel. So all that inconvenience, it was actually worth it, just to find that out and get that wee coincidence down there. But I went back in the next day. She's like, you're parked in Bay 56. So I was like, thanks very much. And I went back out. Once I'd handed back the keys to the courtesy car, I got the keys to her motor, and I went back out, and it was parked in Bay 60. And I just fucking back in there. I says, hey, by the way, fucking jerking me about. You said Bay 56. And I said, I've had to walk down 4 whole bays to get. I didn't do that. I'm just joking with you. Cause it's a day for joking. It's a day for laughs. But I thought to myself, 56. I think yesterday we were going to win title 56. Now maybe it's going to be 4 or 5 in a row. He says try to date me on 56, 57, 58, 59. Maybe it's going to be 5 in a row. You never know. And it's that's something that could happen eventually under Philip Clement. But I got a few drinks last night in that place, Innocent Gun place. It was roasting. So we went along to past Jinty's, and we walked down the Ashton Lane, and we went back onto Byers Road. Going to get to Curlers was absolutely mobbed. So meals and all that they were doing in there, that was totally, they hadn't even cleared up the plates and stuff. So folk having kind of Christmas nights out, really busy, and just ended up back up in the Oran Moor, standing room only in there as well. But it was nice, and I got myself. I had a Menabrea. I didn't realise. I look at it. Like something over 5%. I looked at Menabrea. I had one of them. Reminding you of the stuff you get in New Edmiston House. But it's not strong enough for me at my age. I'm very much a kind of say Ewan McCall. Come by the hills. I'm a rambler. From Manchester way, I get all some of the hard meal, and I need something about 5%, a bit crafty. I never thought I'd be that kind of person, but it's the taste buds. So I was just on there having my Menabrea, thinking this will do. The wife's getting a day out. That's what it's all about. And a young fella behind me is like, "Have a pint of what was it? It was an IPA. It was Evil Eye. It was evil. I'll give you the Evil Eye. I'll give you the something Eye IPA." And I looked at that, and it was like, what was it, 5.8%? I hadn't noticed the percentage on the pump, and I was standing right next to it as well. And I was just finishing mine, so I thought, that'll do for me. I'll just have a wee bit of that. Very nice. That just sent me over there. That just got me into that kind of total kind of de-stressing zone. Picked up a few beers on the way up the road, and we went. But the Chinese are going to go to it's shut because I hadn't go to. Don't want to get something at the Christmas markets now, but it hadn't. 20 minutes. That's 20 minutes. 20 minutes dead, folks. 20 minutes on the button. Maybe that'll. There's how you doing? This is your Fatek post. Rangers have lost the League Cup final, our third straight League Cup final appearance. We won one of them. We've lost two of them to Celtic, taking it even closer than we took the Scottish Cup final. This time last year, Philip Clement won both these games. He won the big European game on the Thursday night away to Real Betis in Spain, in Seville, first ever win against Spanish opposition in Spanish soil competitively, and then on the Sunday in the League Cup final, he won that one. And this year, having completely rebuilt the squad, and that's a kind way of putting what's a downsize, and he's trying to make the downsized squad work. He has drawn both these games. He drew with Spurs, and it was at home, but Spurs in a better quality opposite. I don't know, a big massive European game anyway on the Thursday night, and he's drawn with Celtic the day after 90 minutes, after 120 minutes, and it's just one Ridvan Yilmaz penalty miss away from winning that trophy, away from retaining the trophy. Reaction Pod coming to you in association with Jersnet. I don't know who's on. I should have checked that out. Sorry, I don't know who is on Jersnet tonight, but it'll be 9:30 live on YouTube, the Jersnet podcast. And good luck to the boys with that, because it's a downer, but there is much to talk about, which makes it even worse, I think, and plenty to get into. And I'm also sponsored by staying for 90 minutes, if not 120. You know, a few folk making massive declarations as they left today in the 87th minute. And I did look up, when they would pile through on goal at that, but I did look up at the clock. I did go to myself, it's a bit early for them. You know, it's a bit early, but in it went, 87 minutes, and it didn't make sense. So it made more sense when we actually equalised and took it to extra time. I think we had a chance in the 52nd minute to go 2-0 up, and that would could have altered the game. We also, I think that extra time, also injury time at the end of normal time was our best chance, probably. We had a bit of pressure then. But we're terrible. The finishing is generally terrible. Our decision making in the final is bad, but we're getting plenty of decisions to make. We're getting plenty of chances against Celtic in a way that maybe wasn't apparent. Our first game against them this season, and there was hee-haw bar a Ridvan Yilmaz missed penalty in this game today. But a lot of people at that point when Celtic went 3-2 up were just like, I'm out of here, you know, I'm fucking done with this. And I can't really blame folk, you know, it's very easy to be smart about it now, but they come slipping, there's a few of them come slipping back in, come sauntering back in, just when it obviously became apparent before I even got to the exit that Rangers had equalised and made it 3 each, because this is a team of fighters. They've got a bit of character. You're seeing the grit now. Yeah. I know you want to. This is why I don't envy the boys in Jersnet tonight or whatever. I get it that we want things to be simple. We want things to be easily explained. It needs to be all one way. But I get the impression with the Rangers support just now is we're a bit like, I've said this before, kind of a high maintenance person who just, you know, that way when you want to be in a bad mood, a bad mood can get quite enjoyable on its own. It's quite comforting and everything's shit and you want to be raging. You know, that taxi's not here. I mean, took long enough to get suitcases packed. We've got the hotel booked and all that thing, but the bloody taxi isn't here to get us to the airport. I mean, this taxi just arrived. Aye, right, but I mean, still, at the same time, it should have been, you know, you're kind of a bit flummoxed. You want to be in a bad mood. And that happened to us today. I think it was like, yeah, that's Tav's a loser. I was hearing that getting chucked about today as well. Tav's a loser again. This team, they let you down every time and all that. And it's the same old. I don't remember the last time we drew 3 each way with Celtic in the League Cup final, but apparently it's the same old that happens all the time. And folk will just storming out at the end because it's going to be the same. I get folk protecting their emotions. I do it myself, but when it comes to when we do win the league and start winning these cup finals and start beating Celtic regular again, and it's on its way, you really want to be able to see when you're running about singing songs about loyalism or loyalty or, you know, Rangers man through and through. There was a boy sitting next to me today shouting, singing The Cry Was No Surrender, and I thought, was that fucking right? Where were you 2 minutes ago, mate? He comes slipping back in, but it was quite funny. These things happen. Every support's the same in that sense, but I'm sponsored by staying for 90 minutes or 120 and keep coming back. There's a group called is it MGMT? MGMT, you know, like Kids. That's their hit song. It's Kids. It's a fucking brutally annoying song. I'm talking about White Christmas yesterday, but my God, it's one of these songs. It's so perfectly written, kind of synth pop, techno punk, or whatever the hell you want to call it. It's so preppy, it's unbelievable. It's an American duo. You could just imagine it, you know, filling the floor at regattas and gymkhanas and you know, PPE degree, you know, graduation parties in Oxbridge for fucking, you know, all across the southeast of England. It's just one of the right annoyances, but you know it's good. It is good. You have to hand it to them. You know, it's an adverts and all sorts of TV programs now. You don't know who it is, but I eventually looked it up and it's MGMT, and I looked them up to see what they're all about. And one of the things I noticed in a description of them was their name, MGMT. It means it's short for the management, and it's a concept called disemvoweling. You take it, and they said like folk used to do that when they were texting. You know, back in the old days when it was costing you more money to text folk. When these phones were first invented, and that it was, you know, like see you later. You would just say C, the letter C, space, the letter U, you know, LTR. No, you would miss, and later you would miss out the A and the E. It's disemvoweling, you're getting rid of the vowels. And I don't know what way this is supposed to go. This is definitely how I feel it is with Rangers just now. I don't know if we're disconsonanted or whatever. I don't know what you're supposed to be as a football club, a successful football club. You know, one of the old firms. What's that? 119 versus 118. Oh my God, they're so much better than us. I was quite surprised they didn't score a winner. I thought they'd have a corner. They had a corner in the 119th minute. I always remember the first game after Billy McNeil died. The guy that was wearing number 6, he scored in the 67th minute. I think it was actually 68th, but I think most folks. I thought they do these kind of magical things. Celtic, you know. That's why I can't stand them. I can't stand that kind of pish. You know, but I thought I was quite surprised they didn't actually score. It was set up for them to do it then. You know, remember the guy who's at Rogic scored the perfect unbeaten season. There was a lightning strike because he scored in the last minute against Aberdeen to seal the treble in an unbeaten domestic season under Brendan. I think it was our first season back at top flight. Oh, it's that kind of thing. They definitely do all that kind of stuff. So I was expecting that day. It didn't actually happen, but I think it's like we have. I don't know if it's the vowels we have or the consonants. I can't make up my mind. I think it's more likely to be domestic trophies are more likely to be consonants, aren't they? They're more likely to be the consonants. So Celtic are perhaps disemvoweling us. They're disemvoweling they're disemvoweling the seasons or whatever it is. But we have the consonants that don't get included. We've got all these moments of taking that game to, you know, right down to the wire today, but it breeds into a whole kind of, well, Celtic are probably going to win the treble now, and, you know, Rangers yet again can't get over the line and blah blah blah. We've got, you know, a great night against Spurs, the great night against Real Betis last season. These good European runs and all that actually really do count for stuff. You know, they're basically they're informing our play as much as anything else, as well as financing our squad and giving us fantastic nights of football. But people, I've seen Rangers fans, I've talked about this before on the pod, just want to. I don't want to know about European. I don't want to know about European because we lost that European final. I mean, a European final lost on penalties. You know, again with the one penalty miss. It's, you know, it's something to be proud of. You know, for a club our size. You know, or a club coming from a country of our size. It was a magical moment in the whole run there. You can't write that stuff off. The nights against RB Leipzig and Dortmund were some of the best of my life. So a night like tonight, Rangers. We've played 2 days after Celtic in Europe, a really intense game. We've got a squad that's still really thin on the ground. We've lost our centre-half, who's been phenomenal this season. We've lost him to injury the other night. We've changed our defence, half of our defence during the game today as well. It's not as if we're not throwing everything at it, and it's not as if there's no stuff there, but it's the consonants, the hard consonants, the trophies you want. League Cup, Scottish Cup, league title, they're the consonants. We're just the vowels, I think, and these Celtic keep disemvoweling seasons. It's confusing us into thinking we're going backwards. I don't think we are at all. This was quite. I think it was a really interesting performance. It definitely reeked of Rangers going forward, getting there. Can you consider everything that happened to us during the summer? The number of players we've left, what the manager's working, see the context there. It was losing John Souttar. These things happen. These things definitely happen. Our defence kind of getting down to bare bones in the centre half department. Really interesting the way the game panned out today. I stupidly, I'm sorry, Robert. I sent Robert a text. I have this thing where if I say something positive, it never happens. Right? If I, in any way, make a positive call for Rangers, I stopped doing this years ago. It never happens. I totally jinx it. I've given you plenty of boring you with the examples of that I've done over the years. But when it comes to, so what happens is there's a situation where I think I've jinxed something. I need to do something to unjinx it. It's pathetic. It's the depths of superstition, absolute depths of superstition. But Robert texted me to say he'd lost his ticket. But the last time he couldn't find his ticket. The last time he'd lost his ticket, we beat him in penalties. It must have been the Scottish Cup semi-final. He couldn't get to the game, and so we're joking about whether he should find it. He found it anyway, But and I was saying this, listen, mate, I fancy to lose this in penalties a day. So you're probably doing you a favour. You don't have to go through that pain. It's going to go all the way, and we're going to lose it. So the minute it went to penalties, as it went to extra time, I'm thinking, I can't be right about that. I cannot. How can I never be right about the fucking good stuff? I'm always right about the bad stuff. So I've sent Robert a text. Just as soon as it went to penalties, as soon as the extra time finished, gone, oh, me, my big mouth. So he's probably looking at it just now thinking, it was your very good, I like it, so about you. I'm sorry, Rob. It's just, fuck's sake, mate, I'm sorry. I had to try and get it out there. I had to try and say, I couldn't get a signal to put it up on Twitter or anything like that, or Blue Sky, as I'm using these days. I just had to say it to somebody, and I'm sorry, and it didn't work anyway. I didn't manage to double jinx it, backwards injections for life, top trumps, whatever. I couldn't make it work. And you feel pretty helpless. There's not a lot you can do. I did think Jack Butland was going to be on my slagging of Jack Butland over the years. Bumped into Jamie. Jamie, tremendous, great fella. Really good on the pod. Great feedback for Jamie. A few cracking chats, and he just taps me on the shoulder. This guy taps me on the shoulder and going, you and I like for the podcast, because obviously I'd never seen, I didn't know what it looked like, so I get to put a face to the name. It's really nice to have a wee chat with him during the game. He now knows officially I'm a jinx as well, and unfortunate for Jamie to have to put some halitosis to he knows the face, but imagine this in real life, it's even worse. But sorry, lots of M's here, folks. It's just, what do you do? What do you say? It's fucking brutal. It's absolutely brutal. I get the need to shout at the moon kind of thing, bark and howl about this. I've seen a lot of anti-Tav stuff today, but I think most of the problems will come down my left-hand side today. Hefty. Get taken to cleaners a few times. Celtic played some blistering football. Just tiny patches, though. Tiny patches down their right-hand side, down our left. That was enough to get them back into the game, see them take the lead and what have you. We were making some mistakes down there. The manager maybe too late in taking Hefty off, but we go back into the game, takes it to extra time, and extra time we just played in the Celtic end of Hampden, both halves. It's really, really quite strange. There was nothing really going to happen in extra time, was there? It was just about, as soon as it went to full time, it was get to the penalties, and that's what happened. And it's a Red Van Yilmaz miss. And talking about jinx and talking about luck and all that. I know if you're an angry Rangers supporter, or fucking this isn't a celebrating Celtic fan or whatever. This isn't what you want to hear. But what else is there to talk about? But I have this total self-involved solipsistic shit that I need to kind of share with somebody. I do this thing where if we're taking a penalty, I feel I need to see our player's name, and I kind of, like, Tav's taking a penalty, and I've a lot of practice with Tav taking penalties, and I'm like, on you go, Tav, because I'm very nervous. As I say, I'm always kind of predicting the worst and that, and it can be really miserable at times. It's really pessimistic. Other folks sitting next to you going, why are you saying we're going to miss this? I can't really explain to them. It's because if I don't say it, we will miss it. So I'll just do a wee kind of, on you go, Tav. Tav puts it away. Who took our next penalty? It was Danilo, and I'm like, on you go, Danilo. I thought, that sounds too formal. No, I usually do the nickname, on you go, Danny. See, when Yilmaz was coming up, my brain was so gone, my head was so fried, the nerves were so rot, that by the time Red Van Yilmaz come up to take his penalty, I couldn't remember his name. I actually couldn't get his name. It's an old man thing. It's getting up with the drink I had last night, whatever. And I was like, it's Ridvan, it's Yilmaz, come on, and I couldn't get out in time, and he took the penalty and missed it before I got a chance to actually get out. So again, my fault, sorry about that, but that's all we've got to do. It's just margin, it's very, very fine margins. It's not as if we were outclassed today. Yes, I know that's two different cup finals that we have lost at the last possible moments, but we lost this one at the laster possible moments, the lastest possible moment. I suppose it could have went all the way 2019 on penalties, but you know what I mean. We lost the Scottish Cup final in May to Celtic through a last-minute goal and a Jack Butland howler. But we've lost this one today after extra time and penalties and taking the lead in an Old Firm game for the first time since that 3-0 game. But it's kind of the season was already by. I think Celtic had already won the league. Postacoglu's penultimate game at Ibrox, we beat him 3-0 that day. And John Souttar scores. He's no playing. I think it's the last time we actually took the lead against him. So that's something. Clement hasn't managed so far to take the lead against Celtic, and also they've gone a goal up on us. They've taken the lead against us, turned that around. A blistering spell of football just after we went through on goal in the 52nd minute, chance to put the game away. Didn't do it. It was like 4-on-1 or something, like a total overload. Couldn't manage it. And then Celtic just ping pong. That was it. Oh God, that sounds. I say that all the time. I don't mean. I mean, 1-2. I say that in games against everybody. If there's 2 quick goals, that's. So ping pong's Chinese anyway, isn't it? So I'm not. That doesn't sound. Sorry, I doesn't mean. I'm not meaning to be racist in any fucking way there. Sorry, it's been a bad day. So they slam bam. It was a quick 1-2 from them, and we were 2-1 down. And you're thinking at that point, this, maybe they've started playing. They've started properly playing here. Maybe that's going to be it. But we rode out that storm and we come back at them, and then they score again. And it was a bit like it's very, very much like the 3-each draw at Ibrox, except the last time we played in the league at Ibrox. Except that's what we've done. I put a proposition to you. This time we've scored the first goal, and this one wasn't a league game, so there has to be a winner. I put a proposition to you in my preview pod on Friday night, folks, which was if we lose this game, but we lose it in such a way that it's frustrating but unbelievably close, and we've played well enough. It's not been a total hammering. It's not been, and we need to remember that. We need to remember when we beat Motherwell here in the League Cup semi-final. Straight away it was this manager. He's going to get us destroyed. We're going to get absolutely hammered by Spurs, hammered by Celtic. It's been 2 draws. Which is kind of the opposite of a hammering. Obviously, we want to be winning stuff, but we've moved on to a whole new complaint, a much healthier complaint. And that the Spurs game, no harm at all, and drawn with that, with the points we've got. It's a league system in the Europa League, but today it's all about a winner. The game is played to a close. There must be a winner. It wasn't us, but there was no hammering going on there today at all. And you think about the myriad mistakes we definitely made in that game, and still. It's taking penalties before Celtic can beat us. I do think we're still moving in the right direction. I said because it's resets, it is rebuilds with Rangers. I've been laying it out all season on this podcast, if you're unfortunate enough to be watching a lot of them. How I think Rangers as a club since 2012, we're throwing ourselves forward and having great moments and getting pulped back by the kind of undertow of the complete financial collapse in 2012, the infrastructure going out the club and what have you. So we have these moments of, oh my God, we just won the league unbeaten. Oh my God, we just got ourselves through like 4 qualifying rounds of Europe into a group stage for the first time since 2012. And then you'll have these, we're getting record doings in the Champions League. Bad stuff. Other bad stuff has happened. Just being a bit incompetent in the league or whatever. But I think today wasn't like that. I think today it makes sense that it reminds me. It was already before we even played this game a day. It was reminding me potentially it was going to be the same as the 2019-20 League Cup final. Brendan Rodgers. No, it was Neil Lennon that day. It was Neil Lennon. We'd already hunted. Brendan had Steven Gerrard, but Neil Lennon was manager of Celtic that day, wasn't he? And we pushed it all the way. It's that same, because it's the same time of year. It's the same bloody weather as well as that day. So squalid. I was talking on Friday night about how I hate the Old Firm games are great if you win them, but they're fucking awful if you lose it. They're awful until you win them. They're just an awful, horrible experience. So much shite and toxicity around them. But it's the same time of year we lost that game, and it's the same kind of weather. It's what is it, the 22nd, 23rd of December? White Christmas, Christ, it's just bleak Christmas. It's the darkest day of the year, isn't it? So we're just a few days. We're practically at the darkest time of the year. We are at the darkest time of the year, and you get out the car, and must be because they've got so many buses as well. It's not we play in other clubs at Hampden. They've got half the support. We had all these buses, that bit along Cathcart Road where is it even Cathcart Road at that point? It is. It kind of links the bit with all the shops and all that to the bit where you're just burning along to Hampden. Sorry, I'm losing my shit here. There's the bowling club. It just goes right along the railway line. The bowling club that's the original Hampden. That's got the mural with the 5-1 game against England in the back of it. Along there, it's kind of folk for the bus park didn't park there. They all come up that way, but this time the buses were all parked along there as well. And for the minute I'd done my neck in the shower the day, and I was kind of my head bowed down. It's too much time on my phone. That's what it is. And then I'm walking along. It's like a tunnel going along the pavement, and there's all these buses alongside you the whole way, and it was bleak and it was dark and it was raining. I'm thinking it's the fucking same as this day in 2019-20, I'm telling you. And I got into Hampden, I'm up the back of the Rangers end, and the Rangers end, but it's that bit right just down to what the security, the police are, that kind of police box thing that's below the lip of the overhang, the top tier of the main stand, the tiny top tier of the main stand. It's directly above you, so you're kind of below the roof. The roof's coming down almost to like head height, and the police are behind you and all that, and everybody's standing up. It's a really dark wee kind of corner, and you're looking at it. Celtic fans, they didn't have as much tifo as us, so if we'd won the day, they could have got us sued for that. We'd more tifo. We'd tifo at half time, they didn't. But it was a bit of tifo going on, but it wasn't anything too much. And it was dark. It was just dark. The whole day is dark. The whole feel is dark. It's grimy. There's warnings going up on the big screens today about watch your feet when you come up down the steps because of underfoot conditions. It's because it's manky. It's just totally squalid. It wasn't a nice feeling. And it was just... it was even the same last year we played Aberdeen in the final. It's not a nice time of year. It began as a summer cup, the League Cup, a summer tournament during the war and that, but it's very much a winter one now. And it's just, I think the weather's the same for the Celtic fans, And as per that 2019-20 final, it was a lot. Celtic had to score before I even knew they were on the ground. It was the fear. You could feel the fear coming from the end of the park. This dominance is going to end. It's going to end, and that's a good thing. And what happened 2019-20? Celtic scored that offside goal. We missed a penalty, having kind of dominated the game, and we got them. The next, we played them like 2 weeks later in the league, and we took the belief from that game, and probably the frustration as well. And we beat them at Parkhead for the first time, so we come back into top flight, and it wasn't enough to save the season. That season, a season that ended very early. But psychologically, it set us up for the glories of the following season, and I think we've got to make sure that happens again today. We've got Celtic at Ibrox this time in just barely a couple of weeks' time, and we've got to take the positives from this game today. So the big news today at the start of the game was that John Souttar was not fit. John Souttar didn't make it. I don't know if the manager was at it in his pre-match presser. It was a bit of mind games, whatever. God, that's 42 minutes, sorry. That's what you've got to do, try and get rid of the Celtic fans. I know that I don't. I mean, that's the thing, it's great for the pod. I'll be able to start releasing merchandise and all that now. There'll be millions of views tonight. I would only had about 200 views if we'd actually won this League Cup today. But I'm thinking of what I'll do. I'm going to do mugs. You can just get mugs, get them printed up, and you just share some with the company that makes them. I'm going to get Fat Eck, but just doing the handle, because that's my handle. It's part of like that. It seems to be winning the internet these days. So that's the merchandising wars will begin. Okay. Souttar was out, and we played 2 10s. We didn't have a 10, and now we've got 2 of them. We've got Nico Raskin as a 6. Jack Butland's doing what is a good save last week up it. I still has his moments where he's going a bit close or taking too long on the ball when the ball's at his feet, but he's getting away with them more and more, and he's a couple of class saves last couple of games, and I give Jack Butland a hard time, but it's a joke. I'm just kind of joking, the Jack Butland thing. He stepped up and took that penalty today. I think he felt a bit. I thought, this is it, Jack. You're just going to seal your fate here. But I think it was a kind of captain's part. He's a vice captain. He probably felt the responsibility. And well, if you've got the confidence, I don't like folk that are overly confident. But if he's got the confidence, if you can back it up, well then that's absolutely fine. And he slotted that penalty away, so a fair play to him today. Big man did well, represented, but I haven't seen it. I don't know how Celtic's goals really went. I don't really know the details of their goals because it's up the other end and it's all a bit crazy. So maybe he's made a rick of 2 or 3 of their goals, and I'm talking crap here. But he stepped up and took his penalty and put it away. It was quite a thing to see a Rangers goalkeeper scoring his penalty. Remember Stefan Klos come up for a header against Victoria Zizkov. But Victoria Zizkov were the first team to play Atletico Madrid at their stadium in O'Donnell, Campo O'Donnell, where them and Real Madrid used to play in Madrid. I don't want to talk about it again, but anyway, let's do it. With Bajrami and Hadji. Bajrami actually goes in at 10 and plays as a 10 for like the third time in his Rangers career. And Yanis Hadji, who I'd been saying, I thought he's wide left. He's playing wide left, but and that's what it is. You see the BBC website and all that, the formation. He's at 10. I thought Danilo was playing in 10 who were playing Danilo and Igaman. Hadji's playing wide left and putting all his 10 skills out there, and immediately that means we don't have the same pace. I thought it was going to have to be Yilmaz and Hefty on the left-hand side, because this formation, the 4-2-3-1, it does rely on pace, and I thought our manager likes pace on the wings. He seems to be doing anything to get it in there, but we didn't have that on the left-hand side, a lack of pace, just Hefty there, and that can come back to bite us. I don't know that Yilmaz playing instead of Hadji would have made any difference, because the one thing that was really noticeable, you've got Igaman up front, obviously, Czerny wide right, Tav, he gets the call ahead of Dujon Sterling, and that was fine by me. That's what I thought it should be. And the thing you noticed was when I thought was actually going to happen was we were going to end up winning the game the same way that Celtic won that League Cup final in 2019-20, and with the way I've got history all mapped out and the future all mapped out, how was that going to work? That was going to be too mind-bending. But no, it was a different game altogether. But I thought I like to see, a team who's done well with a good result on the Thursday night in Europe. Can we just carry it, go and take that buzz into the early moments? They can get a good start, play really well in the first half and get a few goals on board. And if you've got it, you'll then have that to fight for when you're running out of energy when it kicks in. We get more tired more quickly than Celtic in the second half, and we were great for the first 2 minutes, and then it was back to the wall. We went down the left hand side, we went down the right hand side. Overhit balls or something like that, and it was like, all right, we're getting into the game here, and then it seemed to be Celtic we're running things for about half an hour or so. But we're doing that thing where I don't know if it's the high stakes thing that I've been talking about in my European games. It's the same against Spurs. It was the same away to Nice. It just went to a whole new level. But over in Piraeus against Olympiacos, where we're making the game a bit outside the opposition's 18-yard box. That's what it's all happening. That's what it's won and lost. We're trying to stop them there, intercept them there, give them something to think about there, which stops them building. It gives them something to think about when they actually just try to build up from the back. They can't really relax. And it stops the ball getting to our defence, which is a bit in the ropey side, because you get Balogun and Proper playing together today, who finished the game against Spurs and did well. But this is them starting a game at Hampden against Celtic, who, let's say, extra couple of days rest, and they're all about getting in about us and making sure they win all the cups and all that, and keep Brendan's appeal to clubs down south intact, keeping his CV polished. And sorry, I keep doing that. And I usually also do when we played really well, like I was breathless the other night. It was absolutely brilliant. And it was just. I listened back to these pods and it's me going, and it was just. What was it, Alec? Just what, show, don't tell, But it's been a bad one today. So we're getting under pressure for Celtic today, and then we did that thing where Celtic are trying to pass the ball across the kind of halfway line, really. They're coming out for the back. I don't know who it was, but Bajrami right in there. Boom. He's not got great pace, Bajrami, but he's in there and he's clean through on goal. And he has is it Igaman he lays it after? Igaman has a shot. Schmeichel can only parry it. And from where I'm standing, it's just like, right, okay, so we're going to score this here. This ball's getting put in the back of the net, but I couldn't work out. I didn't know if there was anything going on. And because the ball goes in the back of the net, and you've got the whole Celtic end, if you're up the back of the Rangers end, you're just looking, the whole background is a Celtic end, so nobody's cheering. Everybody's standing stock still. The ball's going in the back of the net, and a few Celtic players were appealing for something. I'm like, right, there's got to be an offside or something, because when we score against Celtic in Old Firm games, it tends to get chopped off. It tends to get VAR'd out of there. And I didn't cheer. And that's enough. Fucking one of my things. I've done that before, not cheering Rangers goals, because I'm so maybe raging at them, and it means they've started badly, and there's an undertow through the whole game. The tone is set, really. Even though we score, we can't get out of the rut, and the opposition come back and they'll equalise or they'll win the game, and I'll be like, I get this hang up that it's me. I didn't score. Sorry, I didn't cheer. I've never scored. I didn't cheer when we scored, and therefore that's unlucky. And I did the same today. I didn't cheer because I actually thought it was going to. I thought I was waiting for a flag to go up. The boy next to me was the same. And he's gone, I'm waiting for the VAR, I'm waiting for the VAR. And what happens now is when the referee points to the spot, John Beaton, or Brother Beaton, when he points to the spot, you're like, yes! I went kind of mental then, but I think it was too late. The tone was set, we were going to lose. I had Jinxes all sorts of ways a day. But that was us, we were 1-0 up. If we just get it to half time, and then there was injury time at the end of the first half, I think we started doing this thing that kind of set the tone. We're not particularly fast up front. I mean, Cherny's got a bit of a turn up, but no, even he's not. They're very skillful though. And we've got these guys who've got confidence. They're seasoned pros, I think, and a lot of international caps between Hadji and Bajrami and Cherny. And all kind of Eastern European thinking on there as well, even though Bajrami's Swiss born. And there's a nous there, a determination to get a belief, which means they don't really let go. Even though they'll have times where they're losing the ball to Celtic, or they're no finding whoever it is they're trying to find. It's no resulting in a goal for us. They don't lose confidence. They have that professionalism that comes from deep confidence in themselves, and they keep going, and they're creating problems for Celtic at the back. We just kind of keep. You couldn't describe it as boxing them in, but we're certainly giving them lots and lots of problems. Christ, arseholes. We kept them boxed in, and we were kind of annoying them really, and it did the same in the second half. That was, we ended up getting through on goal, 4-1 at 52nd minute or something like that. I think it was Bajrami to get squared to again. He couldn't score. The guy that scored our last goal at Hampden before the day against Motherwell, and that league to put us here in the League Cup semi-final. He couldn't. I think it was him that missed the chance. He just hit it straight at Schmeichel or whatever. It was poor. You're thinking, you pay the price for that. You've got to put away these chances, and within 2 seconds, Celtic were 2-1 up. It seemed to be all sorts of nightmares happening down our left-hand side. Kuhn was getting in behind them and playing the ball up inside them, and a lot through the game. It was just bad. It was getting exposed. Hefty. I don't know how much of that is because he's not got a lot of speed in front of him. We had Jay there, but it was anyway. Celtic completely turned it around. They were getting a bit electric, and you think, oh, maybe this is it. Maybe we're going to end up getting absolutely horsed here, and the humping that everyone was fearing is going to happen. But we dug back in. I don't know what the hell happened with Diamandi's goal. I don't know how he scored it. Whatever. It was just the nerves were through the roof. It's all going on in the box. I don't know if he's hooked it behind himself or whatever. Just so the ball slowly seemed to go over. It seemed to go over Schmeichel, and was just, is that going to go? It's falling into the net. Oh yeah, beauty. And it's quite weird when you're right behind it like that. So that's telling you this is great. And then they've done us again. We've made lots of mistakes, whatever at the back. I can't even remember. It's just all too. This isn't a match report. It's for the good reason that I am absolutely useless at remembering in the heat of the moment what happened. But they were, as I say, they went clean through and goal, and I actually took the time to. They're piling towards our box anyway. I took the time to look up and look at the clock on the scoreboard above Celtic as we're piling through and we're going, thinking 87 minutes, that's going to be, that's about 86 something on the clock. 87 minutes, a bit early for them. So when they scored that one, it felt pretty bad. But I thought, just to be that wee niggling thing in the back of my mind going, nah, I don't know about this. Don't know if that's it. And I was really, obviously, utterly delighted when Danilo scored his goal. Is it a header? I have no idea what happened there. But the ball gets in. We were certainly giving it large. Our failure to do it from a corner. I don't know if some of these goals of ours have come from, they've been second balls after a corner or whatever like that. I can't remember at all, but I just know that you felt as if maybe this is the day. Maybe we've been saving it up. We'll finally score for a set piece. We'll score one for a corner today, but it didn't happen. We're making mistakes all over the place during this game. And yet, we've taken it against the so-called, uncatchable. We're so far behind Celtic. What do we fuck? We're right up their asses. We're coming to get them, and I don't know. We've got to win the trophies. I'll sound like I'm deluding myself until we actually start winning trophies. You could say the same about the Scottish Cup final last season. We're miles behind in the league, absolute miles behind. But this team of ours is changing right in front of us. It is getting better. It is totally improving, and we're going to have to do the old. Nach dem Spiel ist vor dem Spiel. Nach dem Spiel ist vor dem Spiel. After the game is before the game. We're going to have to move this on pretty quickly. You maybe don't want a week off after a game like this, but we obviously need it. We've got a new CEO starting tomorrow. I would find it pretty stupid if he was going to be sacking Philippe Clement for this. I know it's 6 games without an old firm, 6 old firm games without a win. No Rangers manager has ever survived that. Well, Rangers haven't been in these circumstances before. Since 2012, things have been a bit whack. And as I say, I think he's had to rebuild the squad during the summer. he's had to downsize it, and we've seen with the Egaman thing, for example. And Egaman did come on in games and looked a bit raw at times. Other times he come on looked very promising, but you can see what he meant, why he wasn't putting them in earlier in the season, and that's borne fruit spectacularly in Europe, especially. The wee man's going to be great. So Danilo's now back fit. We've basically got the guy who was leading the line at the beginning of the season for the first 3 or 4 months of the season, and he's on about 12 goals, by the way. He's now third choice. That's no bad. That's no bad. I don't know what the problem. I don't know what the story is with John Souttar though, but maybe the new CEO could get us a couple of centre halves. Find some money for a couple of centre halves at Christmas, because in January, John Souttar just is the more. I don't want people talking about how he's getting a really good run of games, because I just feel as if it's tempting fate. He's a fella that gets injured a lot, and that's no good to us. But I hope. I mean, all the best to him. I hope he's back in time. It's just fucking. It's pish, folks. It's absolutely pish. There's no two ways about that. It's not enjoyable at all. It's a brutal sense. Be back at Hampden again, and losing a cup final to Celtic again. It's ages since we beat Celtic at Hampden. 2022 since our last meaningful win against them, and it was here at Hampden, Scottish Cup semi-final of 3 seasons ago. It's getting bad. But that's not on Philip Clement. And I think you have to look at this as being, technically speaking, he's drawn these last 2 games that he was supposed to be getting utterly destroyed in. I felt kind of sorry for the players today. I think they definitely gave it their all. The decision making, we get ourselves into positions where we just, I don't know if it's tiredness from Thursday night, that can be a factor as well, but there was a couple of times like Tav was clean, he was hitting the byline and there was somebody to hit at the back post and he's way over hit it. When that kind of stuff starts happening, the one thing about Tav is he is good in the final areas, in the opposition box and what have you. So stuff like that, you think that's tiredness. That's the strain of Thursday night. But I think even Raskan and Diamante, Bajrami, Hadji, the day they all had moments where I think they could have played much better balls, easier balls at times. Our shooting is fucking woeful. It's absolutely terrible for a team at our level, and I've been saying this for years. Our inability just to have a pop, and it's not even like the wild stuff. I mean, Igaman's goal against Ross County last week, right? That's fine. But we seem to need to walk the ball into the net. It needs to be coming almost all the time from somebody hitting the byline and pulling it back. To be able to work something kind of, from 10 to 18 yards, and just a simple placed shot or having a shot or being able to square somebody in and go, we all seem to kind of overcomplicate it, but we're making these opportunities. I'm able to judge our inability to finish stuff off because we're getting into that situation. This isn't the 3-0 doom we took at Parkhead. This is a massive, if you look at it in terms of the game at Parkhead at the beginning of the season, which was a total anomaly in terms of the way the games against Celtic went last season, that were all, when we lost 4 out of 5, and they're all by a single goal though. Then we went taking a 3-0 down at Parkhead. This one again, it's 3 each. Celtic have taken the lead against us today, and we've come back at them, as well as us taking the lead against them. It is getting changed up. But as I say, the vowels are whatever. Anyway, my name's Alec Anderson. I can't believe the news today. I can't close my eyes and make it go away. How long must we sing this song? How long tonight? We can be as one tonight. Broken bottles on the children's feet. Bodies strewn across a dead-end street. But I won't heed the battle call. I won't be asking for them to sack the ball. Manager, it's not a Rebel song. It's definitely not a Rebel song. We are live from, not Red Rocks, but Red Bricks. The Red Bricks of Hampden. The pish Red Bricks that we've had as a home stadium this season. And unfortunately, it is bad news for Rangers again. But I think there's much to be positive about today. Brendan Rodgers only lost 1 out of 20 Old Firm games. That's a lot of that is down to us. But I think it's also a record that you get to the point you need to kind of respect and say we're up against something kind of institutional here, and to make real kind of legacy lasting change, it does, as I've always said, it happens slowly. You need to really get those foundations and do get the plumbing sorted and what have you, all the kind of dirty jobs. And I think this is our 3rd straight League Cup final It's our third straight domestic final, just of all the domestic finals that are played in Scottish football. We're reaching them all just now, right? We're only winning one. That's not enough in both cases. But this is something we just weren't doing. Say that 2019-20 League Cup final was actually played December 2019. That was our first League Cup final after. In fact, it was 2010, 2011 League Cup finals, and it was 2019-20. But we basically hadn't been in one for the best part of a decade, and now we're in the League Cup final all the time. We're in Scottish Cups, we're at Hampden all the time, and I don't just mean Hampden, I mean that in the kind of connotation sense. We're at Hampden in terms of reaching the semi-finals and finals of major tournaments all the time now. That's something that was not happening up until the 2020s. We're moving these things on. We are moving them on. We've missed a chance today to retain a trophy. We need to start retaining trophies. Never mind winning them, but it's a long, brutal slog. But this is very much part of it. I think there's definitely something to be taken from this game today. I'm just talking now to try and find a bit more positivity to give you, but there isn't any, because we've lost to Celtic, we've lost on penalties, lost the League Cup final, and that is always shite and always should be. It should never be acceptable for Rangers, but I don't think we should be throwing any babies, any baldy Belgians out of bathwater now. I think there's enough to build on here, and we get them back at Ibrox in a couple of weeks. We'll see what happens then. Cheers, troops.